Hello. So today I'm going to take a look at Prismacolor Premier colored pencil set versus the Bright Ideas colored pencil set, and I'm going to do my tests on Strathmore paper, and I'm going to apparently be helped by Zuzu, who is going to lay down exactly in the middle of where I was going to work. But that is alright, we will just work around Zuzu. Alright, so Prismacolor has quite a reputation in the colored pencil world, and part of the reputation is that people think of them as expensive, but the 72 color set you can get for about $60, which is less than $1 per pencil. The Bright Ideas set only has 10 colors, and you tend to get that for $11 or $12 a set, which means it's slightly more than $1 per pencil. Now, of course, when you get things in larger sets, you tend to get cheaper per item pieces. So you could say that they are generally equivalent, but I think that Prismacolor has a much better name recognition amongst people than the Bright Ideas set does, which comes from Chronicle books. So it's more of like a Barnes and Noble kind of thing that people get when they are out buying adult coloring books and that sort of thing. And Strathmore colored pencil paper isn't, the best in the world, but it will certainly be good for our testing purposes. All right, so what I'm going to do amongst the swirling cattail is I'm going to pull out the Bright Ideas colors. Oh, look, and see, they're all gnawed on by the cat. I don't know if you can see that, but yes, that's why the cat loves these things, because they love gnawing on the different colors that we've got available. Let's put it there. All right, so I'm going to choose one of the colors. We'll just start from the red side. Come on. A little hard to do this around the cat. All right, so we've got Painting the Town Red, which is a completely non-descriptive red, but we will try to find a rough equivalent. Yes, you are so helpful. Oh, do you need some chewing time? All right, here. Chew on the pencil. Did it not have enough cat tooth holes in it? It seemed to have quite a lot, as far as I was concerned. Yes, it makes nice crunchy noises. You're a good kitty. All right, can I draw now? All right, so I think that red there is the closest. The aim is not to get these exactly to match from the color to color, but to get a sense of how the saturation and the drawing process works with the two of them. And it looks like I need to whoa, kitty. You can put holes in it, but you can't actually, well, clearly you can, but I really don't want you to be snapping the pencils for all sorts of reasons. As mentioned, these are not the cheapest things out there. Alright, so let me find a pencil sharpener. Alright, sharpen pencil. Will do. You want to take another bite? Alright, so we'll start with red. I suppose I'm going to find a pen. And I will mark out. Let's do it this way. You have to chew the pen too. The pen isn't as chewy as wooden pencils. I know. This is sad. Right, so we'll do Prismacolor. And then we'll do Bright Ideas. Right here, you can play with the pen. Come on. You're wondering what your brother is up to? Alright, so Prismacolor, we got Poppy Red. Do a little bit of soft stuff. Get a sense of the range of it. All right, and then Bright Ideas is painting the town red. Right, again, they're not exact duplicates, and the point is not try to get the duplicate of the color, but to get a sense of how they behave. So both do a pretty good job of making a darker area Let's go back into this one. Well, this one, the Prismacolor has more of a buttery feel to it, like you're putting something creamy onto the surface. And even when you're doing the lighter strokes, it's sort of like spreading, I don't want to use, well, I suppose I will use the word butter, spreading something creamy and soft onto there. Oops. But with this, it's not quite as smooth flowing. It's more like scratching something onto the surface. Let's see, I'm trying to be wholly unbiased in this process and give each of them a fair chance. Alright, so those are the two reds. Let's try orange. Alright, this is a particular shade of orange. Let me just look at the next tray just to make. Jeez, can't. Alright, no. Alright, so again, the colors are not going to match exactly. Sort of like that one. Alright, so we'll go with this one. So for the Prismacolor, we have one that's just called orange. With the Bright Ideas, we have fresh squeezed scribbles, which, as you guys know, is not something I'm keen on. It may seem cute, but once you get more colored pencils, trying to deal with pencils that have cute names is less useful than just having actual color names. Alright, let's go with the orange. Alright, so again, very creamy, smooth process. This paper does have a texture to it, but I don't feel the texture of the paper as much as I feel the process of the color going down onto a surface. And it's not that I can't tell that it's got a texture. It's that's not the overriding feeling to it. When I'm doing this, it's much more about squashing something down onto a ridged surface. Like you're scratching it onto there, I guess. I suppose sort of like you're dragging something across sandpaper. It's hard to describe these kinds of things. And, there's people who might like one sensation over the other sensation. I suppose I like the smooth sensation because I am used to watercolor painting and acrylic painting, where the main thing is the act of getting the color onto the paper in a way that's manageable and being aware of the textures, but the textures to me aren't the primary activity. It's the paint or the substance going down onto the paper, and I get more of that with the Prismacolors. And also it seems to have a smoother coverage than the Bright Ideas, which seems to have a more spotty kind of coverage. But we'll see. Alright, so we got two oranges. We'll go to yellow next. Alright, so we've got golden opportunities. It's funny, the color versus the color of the tip are slightly different here. Do I want to match the color of the outside, or do I want to match the color of the tip? One would think I'd want to match the color of the tip. which is more like this one here. Alright, that's a Spanish orange for the tip. Well, we'll do this as an experiment because clearly the colors of the outside of the pencil don't really match here. It matches more with that one, but the colors of the tip seem to match more here. So we'll find out. So we'll try Spanish orange. Versus golden for opportunities. Alright, so let's try the Spanish orange. Which is sort of like a golden yellow. Let's try the golden opportunities. That's actually pretty close there. But when I put that down, I can see all the little edged lines in there, and I'm trying to bear a little harder with the yellow to make it stand out, because yellow notoriously doesn't stand out well against white unless you use a little more pressure, which, you know, makes sense. It's a lighter color. But like if I look at them sideways, I can see the marks much more with the yellow one. Let's see. Well, see, this is still just much smoother. Alright, let me try to find one that matches the outside color better. Is it a better match? Yeah, so see, this one matches, which is the lemon yellow. So we'll just put that over here. Alright, let's try that. Alright, so that is a very different color than what the Bright Ideas color was. So even though the pencil outside color matches, it doesn't match what the tip color is, and that's a little more of a concern to me. I would want those two things to be reasonably in sync. So this is what pairing the color on the outside of the pencil would seem to indicate matched, which to me it doesn't. These two match much better, and that's what color the tips of the pencils seem to match. Alright, let's go to green next. So we have to go down a layer. You know, and one could say that you get more color options with the Prismacolor, but I just happen to have the 72 color set. I mean, I could easily have the 10 color set of something of the Prismacolor. Alright, those two are close to matching, but not quite. Are these two closer? Not really. Well, maybe. Alright, we'll call that a better match. But again, if I was going by the color on the outside, then those two wouldn't look anything at all like each other. But when I look at the color on the tips, those are at least close. I could try both of them and see what they're like. Alright, so we'll start with the one that I think is a better match, which is olive green. This is going with green pastures. Green pastures. Now, it's probably hard for you to hear anything, but the sounds that these make are different from each other. The Bright Ideas one makes more of a scratchy noise, we'll say, and some people may really enjoy that and find that that's the kind of sounds that they want to make when they are coloring. So make sure I'm working with the right one. The Prismacolors make less of a scratching noise. What kind of a noise would we call this? More like a paintbrush on canvas, so there's still a noise there, but it's a smoother kind of noise, I suppose. Alright, and let's try the grass green. Just out of curiosity. The grass green is sort of more in the neighborhood of the green pastures. But the tip looks more like the olive green color of the tip. And neither of them look like the outside color. The outside color looks much brighter. So again, this is a case where you'd want to make yourself a color chart and be able to rely on the color chart to know which is which. And I have in fact made a color chart for the Bright Ideas, which I keep in there so that I can see what the colors look like. Alright, so those are the greens. Blue, it's called blue hue. I think probably this one. I think it's about as close as we're going to get. Yeah, it's not really like those. Alright, so we'll go with Copenhagen blue. Still not quite it, but it'll be close. Goes with blue hues. Oh, looks like I'm running out of room. Well, I'll make it fit. Alright, Copenhagen. Blue hues. Yeah, so as you can see, not quite the same color of blue. But that's going to be true with any colored pencil set you get. They're all going to have their own versions of shades, even if it has the exact same name. And that's why many people end up with multiple sets, so that they get exactly the same colors that they want, and then they can do some blending to mix together 2 or 3 colors to get the color that they're after. I can really feel it when I go back and forth between the 2 types of pencils, which one I'm working with. Alright, purple. Which one is that? Oh, it's indigo. Indigo blue is actually seeming to be the closest. I don't know. I think maybe violet. This looks like it needs a little sharpening. Right. We got violet. And we got Royal Reflections. the violet. Yeah, so you can see with all of their colors, they tend to be very bright primary colors, which is lovely. There are all sorts of times where you want a bright primary color to be able to create the look you're going for. So it might be for your projects that you want to have both of these on hand and have the Bright Ideas for doing the primary colors and then having the Prismacolor for doing the more subtle colors. Alright, we'll do the browns. Let's see, I was going to say, well, it's got to be this one because of the outside color, but actually with the color of the lead part, we'll call it, looks like it's much, no, it's not even quite that. Well, it's not quite any of them. Alright, well, we'll have to go with this one. Alright, so we got sienna brown, along with chocolate fondoodles. Sienna brown. Chocolate fondoodles. Well, they're actually not as far off as I was thinking, or maybe I'm just more tolerant of shade differences in brown versus in blue or green or something. And the chocolate actually spreads well. That's interesting that the different colors are behaving a little differently from each other. Alright, let's do gray. This has gray areas sort of in between those two. With the darker one. Which is the 30% cool gray. Yeah, I think that's about as close as we're going to get, so we'll put it up here. Goes with gray areas. It's just so creamy and smooth. We got the gray areas. Black, hopefully we can do the same on both. We got black and black magic. So those are pretty much identical, as one would hope. And then white, what shall we do? Let's make a black square or circle. Make a black circle. It's funny, the texture of these is a bit different from each other. As if not the same amount of pigment is going down for the bright ideas. Alright, let's put the white up against it. Alright, and hopefully these whites are the same. One would have to hope. Let's see what this does. Not very... showing up. Right, in both cases we'll see. Let's see how we can do this. Let's put a ring around that. Ring around that. I'm just not sure you're going to be able to see this no matter which way I do it, because if I fill that in with white, it's just going to look like the white paper. Well, I think it's fair to say in both cases it looks like the white paper. So, they're both white. I'll just make a little note. White. And carte blanche. Alright, so let's see if I can hold this up now and get this light to aim a little better. Alright, so we got the Prismacolor on the left, the Bright Ideas on the right, and clearly the colors aren't always going to be exact matches because of the nature of colored pencils and all sorts of things, but I was surprised in cases like this where the color of the outside was very different than the color from what it actually drew as, and matched much better something else which had a much different outside color. So I think Bright Ideas should do a better job of properly representing their colors with their outside paint, so that people know better when they pick something up what kind of a color they're going to get. And let's see if you can see this well enough. The textures that go down are a bit different. But the Prismacolor ended up being creamier. The Bright Ideas ended up being scratchier, but depending on the kind of effect you're looking for, it may be what you are wanting out of it. So if you're doing a lot of colored pencil work, it might be worth it to try both of them and see which ones work for you in different kinds of projects, and also which colors. It could be that you're doing a children's book and that these bright primary colors are exactly what you're looking for, and that you can't quite get those colors with the options that the standard Prismacolor 72 set provides. But it could be that you're trying to do something more intricate, and the color range, you know, you get multiple greens, multiple reds, and all that kind of stuff with the 72 color set is provides a better range for what you're up to. But it's also worth noting that this costs more, and it's more of a pain to go carrying around with you when you are traveling and such. So there's a place for everything. But hopefully this has given you some information on what the different options are, what they look like, and a sense of what the feel of them is. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else you would like me to give a try to.